infinity till infinity. I will try to bring my best energy till infinity, till infinity.
Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Hannah Yu, Curator of Public Programs at the Fowler Museum at UCLA. The Fowler is pleased to present today's Lunch and Learn program focusing on the process and inspiration behind Cosmic Provenance, a radiant collage transposed onto a vinyl banner exhibited on the exterior of the Fowler Museum with artist Isabella Kelly-Ramirez, or casually known as Izzy. Cosmic Provenance was commissioned by the museum on the occasion of the Fowler's 60th anniversary and installed in October 2023. The hand-cut collage, which has been digitally photographed and blown up to its monumental size, features over 100 artworks from the Fowler's permanent collection. Isabella Kelly-Ramirez lives and works in Los Angeles, California. Born and raised in Santa Barbara, she has been making and stewarding art since she was a child. She received her BA in studio art from UCLA in 2008 and has served as the Fowler's collections manager since 2011. Kelly-Ramirez's engagement with art from around the world at the Fowler Museum informs and inspires her own artistic practice. She works primarily in painting, collage, soft sculpture, and assemblage, with a pop and surrealist flair, and uses her unique sense of color and pattern to create playful assemblages and dreamscapes. She introduces fascinating female characters, modern-day saints, superheroines, and champions of the avant-garde. Through these icons of her own mythology, Kelly-Ramirez seeks to upend prevailing female beauty standards as she co-opts and repurposes imagery from fashion and popular culture. If you have any questions during the program, please submit them through the question and answer function found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can submit and upvote entries that you would like to be considered to be answered by Izzy at the end of the program. And now, over to you, Izzy.
Thank you, Hannah. Afternoon, everybody. I'm going to start my PowerPoint right now, but first I want to make some thank yous. Hi, folks. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning into my first little TED Talk. First, I need to make some thank yous. Like I said, I need to thank our director, Sylvia Forney, Mellon Curatorial Fellow, Carly Forbes, for giving me the opportunity to create this piece, and the whole curatorial team, Gassia Armenian, Patrick Polk, Erica Jones, Siona Pugliati, and Amy Landau for their input and guidance along the way. Thank you also to Erin Connors, Jenna Cush, Eder Satina, and Wilson and Satina Graphics for the production and installation of the banner. Thank you also to Don Cole for the beautiful photography, and thank you to the whole collections team for their moral support. I had a lot of fun making this piece, and having really great colleagues helped make the whole process really enjoyable. So thank you, everybody. So I have worked as the collections manager here at the Fowler Museum full-time since 2011, but before that, I was part-time, and before that, I was a work-study student when I was studying at UCLA. I was actually reminded at a staff meeting the other day that I've actually been at the Fowler for a total of 17 years, which is crazy to think about. So I think I've truly made myself at home here. UCLA is my alma mater, so being afforded the opportunity to have my artwork exhibited at a museum I love, featuring a collection I care deeply about, is truly an honor. My work at the Fowler is very hands-on with the objects. Just briefly, what I do as collections manager, but not limited to, I manage the 5 storerooms that hold a collection of 120,000 art objects. I house the artwork, I manually track the artwork when it's physically moved. I pack the artwork when it comes or goes in transit. So in my 17 years on and off of caring for the art here, I have come to know many of the pieces very well personally. What they feel like, how they smell, their material condition, etc. They're like old friends to me at this point. It has truly been invaluable for me to learn about each object in the collection as they're curated and used for exhibition or pulled out of storage for teaching purposes or academic research. It's been a great inspiration for my own art practice, and I'm so grateful that I get to be around these fantastic objects every day. So in my own art practice, I work in multiple different mediums, as Hannah mentioned, collage being one I've been exploring on and off in the past years. In 2015, I exhibited a series of portrait collages within a larger series called All the Missing Pieces, where the feature artwork was this very large hand-cut collage that I created from magazines and other discarded print materials. And then I had reprinted onto a wallpaper for the exhibition. This format, here you can see it's a terrazzo style, similar to the Cosmic Provenance one I've just done. So this format led me to work in the same way, just on a much larger scale with Cosmic Provenance. I immediately knew what I wanted to do when they approached me to make this piece. The assignment was to create an artwork for a large-scale building banner to celebrate the Fowler 60th anniversary, with the theme just generally being the future. I had been imagining this cosmic spray of fantastic objects for years, so it was very exciting to finally have the opportunity to execute my idea. I also wanted to include as many objects as possible that strongly represented as many different areas of the collection as I could. My goal was for it to feel like a little self-contained exhibition on the side of the building that people could view 24/7. I initially had a couple hundred images in my folder of objects that I had collected to potentially use. A lot of these photos were pre-existing in the Fowler photo archives. A lot of them I shot myself. I chose the objects formally, selecting them based on color, texture, and shape. Here are a couple I shot myself. They needed to be bright, eye-catching, and have interesting silhouettes. There ended up being over 100 objects featured in this final collage. So the original artwork was created on a 5-foot by 10-foot sheet of synthetic paper that I actually ordered accidentally, but it ended up being perfect. I had never worked with this paper before, but the slicker paper, which is what the synthetic paper allowed me to use blue painter's tape to temporarily stick down objects and just move them around like stickers. What I would do is first digitally format 3 to 4 objects, sometimes more than that, onto a sheet of paper, and then print them out on the color printer, and then it would be matte high quality matte photo paper, and then cut each image out after printing it. So the tactility and materiality of creating art physically with my hands is a great joy for me, which is why I don't work digitally. Hand cutting the pieces also allows me time to get to know each of the object's curves and colors while I'm cutting. I can also start to think about how I'm going to make them fit together. I move the objects around on the paper, trying to find a feeling of interconnectedness between each object. But at the same time, it was important to me that the objects stood alone, each with their own airspace around them. I would walk away, come back later with fresh eyes to reevaluate, reshuffle, if they still weren't looking balanced. This is what they look like all cut out. This way of working also satisfies my excessive compulsive disorder and my obsessive need to organize material objects, which from my professional life can obviously be seen in my artwork as well. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Also with real hand cut collage, I can move the pieces around. I can stand back from the artwork. It's a bit of a fun game, like a puzzle with infinite outcomes. It's also an exercise that truly could go on forever. The real challenge is wrapping up and finalizing the layout, so a deadline helps. Curatorial support and input was crucial to the process of making this collage. We had 3 group review sessions before the final review, where the curators helped me refine the object selections. It was also important not to include anything deemed inappropriate due to sacred ceremonial nature, anything with known cultural sensitivities. So the initial layout of this collage changed as I worked. I had originally centered the cosmic spray of objects around a source, the source being this beautiful Yoruba divination bowl that I'm obsessed with. You can actually see it on display right now in our Orisha exhibition. The lid of the bowl, as you see, was flipped up with the spray of objects coming out of the bowl, floating upward into the sky. While we agreed as a group it worked visually, we also agreed in the end that we didn't want to impose a random narrative on such a spiritually charged object. So here's kind of like the in-between process before I got to this, the general cosmic spray without a source object. Once the final collage was approved, all of the pieces were glued down, which was highly nerve-wracking, with my favorite acid-free glue sticks, Yoo-hoo sticks. Here you can see just the background cut out of one of the more elaborate pieces, which is a chalk white chair that ended up being in the final collage. Then the whole 10-foot collage was brought to the Fowler and shot by our famous Fowler photographer, Don Cole, who did an amazing job as usual. He actually shot my All the Missing Pieces collage, so I knew he was going to do amazing. The digital image is exactly how I imagined it would turn out, and I think it can lend itself to many different uses for the Fowler for years to come. For the banner installation and kind of the format that we settled on, we decided on curving the image around the front facade of the building so that you could see it from multiple angles. We really wanted it to feel like the Fowler is gift wrapped in a confetti celebration. It's also a great backdrop for selfies, so come on by. Here's a little vinyl test print where you can see I'd not landed on the title yet. I landed on the title, Cosmic Provenance, for literal and practical reasons. I'm just gonna outline here for anyone who doesn't know. Provenance generally means the earliest known history of something or where it came from. It can also be understood as a record of ownership in the case of art or artifacts in terms of who owns legal title. The objects that are in museums can a lot of times have very sparse provenance, so very little is known about the object or where it came from. Sometimes the most general thing we know about an object is just that it exists. Of course, alternately, some objects have very clear and well fleshed out provenance and know exactly where they came from. I was basically visually imagining what a sampler of Fowler objects would look like on a journey through space together, looking for their meanings, trying to metaphorically find their way home. The potential of artworks accumulating new and infinite meanings from being in context together at the museum is so fascinating to me. Likewise, the paradox of the futility of preserving material culture is also fascinating. I really wanted the piece to be like a Fowler-esque Big Bang Theory made visual, but in most general terms, Cosmic Provenance is about how we as artists and our material artworks and belongings are all provisional, ultimately made of stars, wherever they are on their journey coming or going. I'm hopeful that Cosmic Provenance is visually broad and accessible enough to allow for other meanings to come through, depending on the viewer and their own interpretations and knowledge of the objects and ideas presented. So come on by and take a look and let me know what you think. I also just want to note that later this year, we hope to have our database available online where you'll be able to learn a bit more about each object. In addition to many other things in the collections and on display in the galleries. So more resources coming soon to be able to interact with this collage. I really am hopeful that it's going to have a lot of different incantations and ways that we can learn and work with it. And if you haven't come to see it in person, it's going to be up indefinitely. So if you're on campus, come on by. And there she is. Thank you. That's all I got, guys.
All right. Thank you so much to Izzy for giving us insight into your artistic practice and the process behind Cosmic Provenance. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. If you have the opportunity, please do stop by the Fowler Museum to check out Cosmic Provenance. And I think I'll just shoot a question out there to our attendees. Does anyone have any questions for Izzy? We got a couple things. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to move forward and so for everyone's reference, this program has been recorded and it'll be uploaded to the Fowler website for you to revisit and share in a few weeks. I hope you can join us for our upcoming public programs at the Fowler. Details are on our website. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. And Izzy, thank you again so much for your time and expertise. This was such an enjoyable conversation. We appreciate your time. And thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Come on by.
Bye-bye.